Coder Pros, and welcome back to another Coded Car Conversation. I am your coding coach, Tam Talk. We talk about all things coding related. So, on today's video, first let me put out a disclaimer. I wash my hair. It's kinky. It's 4C. It's cute though. But anyway, back to regular programming. So, on today's video, I want to talk about how to mentally prepare for a coding assessment. I started to do a podcast episode on this, but I was like, nah, let's go face to face. So how do you prepare, or how do I prepare mentally for a coding assessment? Now, how can I say this? Of course, the coding assessments, they vary depending on who created the assessment. And so I think what scares us, or what's intimidating about the coding assessments, is the fact that we don't know what's on there. It makes us question our coding knowledge. And I would say you're fine. You're not lacking any coding knowledge. You're not, because you don't know. That's just with any test, whether it's coding, whether it's math, whether it's like an English test. I don't know. We don't know what's on the. We know what's on the test, but we don't know what's on the test. Like, in other words, like, we know what the subject is, but we don't know what the specific questions are. And it's okay to be a little nervous. Y'all had a burger, so excuse me. But it's okay. So several things that I would do in preparation or prior to sitting for the coding assessment, because we know a lot of them are time, and depending on, again, the organization or their coding department who administers or offers that test or assessment to you, everything else could vary. So I would say maybe 3 things that I do ask ahead of time. One of them being, okay, does it require me to know like the bundling rules, like CCI coding, correct coding initiatives? Does it require me to know that? Will the assessment be assessing whether I know how to bundle or unbundle procedural code, CPT services? If so, will you be providing me with access to an encoder, right? Or am I supposed to have my own encoder? So if I'm pursuing a job and this is your assessment, I think it's only fair that you provide the access to the encoder so that I can test my knowledge, right? To successfully pass the assessment. That's the one thing. Will this assessment include bundling or unbundling? And I don't think that's a cheating question. I think that's an honest question to ask. The next one is making sure you have all your material, up-to-date material. And so with that being said, this is a question you would need to also ask the person administering the assessment. Are you basing my coding responses on last year's guidelines or this year, 2024 guidelines? Or are you basing on 2022, 2021, 2017 coding? I need to know, has the assessment been updated to correlate with this year's coding guidelines, or is it still one that has been on the docket since, again, 2017, 2018? So this is an important question because some of the guidelines change, some things have changed, some things have been added. And so I want to go in there with the right mindset. I want to go in there with the right tools, resources, coding information, so that I can successfully pass the assessment. And then also asking, will you receive feedback? And I did mention this on a podcast episode about assessment. Feedback. Okay, so it would be great if you gave me the answer if I got it wrong. But if you don't give me the answer, which I can understand, can you at least give me some feedback? Like, what caused me to miss this particular question? What caused me not to pass the assessment? What caused me not to be selected for the role as a coder? So these are valid questions that you can ask a coding department, or I would say a coding leadership. You're not stepping on any toes. You're not what's the word I'm looking for? You're not invasive. These are genuine questions, things that'll help you one, they'll help ease your anxiety when you prepare to sit for that coding assessment. And also, you just keep in mind, again, if the questions involve in like bundling or unbundling types of services or questions responses, will you provide the access to the encoder so that I can show that I not only know bundling and unbundling, but I also know how to use the encoder system. Second, what year is this assessment based on? Is it based on last year coding guidelines, or is it based on this year's coding guidelines? And then third, will I receive feedback? And again, these are all questions you can ask prior to taking the assessment. That way, when you go in, as I mentioned, it will ease some of your anxiety as relates to the assessment. And like I said, it's normal to have a little bit of anxiety, but not so much where you're like failure, right? You already assuming you're going to fail because your anxiety is getting the best of you. But yeah, so that is my advice for those of you trying to mentally prepare for your coding assessment. But I've been working on some other things too, and I'll give you a little sneak peek of it. Yeah, so we're going into the how-to series, or I'm going into the how-to series, showing you how to maximize on your coding certification. I know a lot of you want to actually code, and there are some of you who are coders and seasoned coders, and you want to start branching out into other things. And so I'm going to show you how to generate, or I'll say generate additional streams of income as well as maximize your certification. So there's something I've been working on, and I'm going to share again a little sneak peek of that with you. And so that's what our next series are going to be. Again, it's going to be how to maximize your coding certification. So on that note, I am going to pop that surprise in, and I'm going to go on with my day. So until next time, code on and stay blessed. Toodles.